What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just Because Gaming. My name is Michael,
And I'm Ray.
and thanks for joining us. Before we jump in, just want to say, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things in all the places. And with that being said, let's jump into it.
All right, today we're going to talk about the Xbox Showcase, which been about a week and a half since I guess it showed. It was a good showcase this time. Most people gave it around a B plus. I'd have to agree with that. The games that they showed were a lot of spot on new things that were coming out this year, plus a few that were coming out next year. One of the ones that I'm most excited for is Outer Worlds 2. Wasn't too sure about it because early previews that they showed didn't give a lot of detail or didn't show a lot of what the gameplay was going to be. This one, they had a direct afterwards, after the showcase itself, and talked even more with the developers about it. Really looks good to me. They did add a lot of color to this one compared to the last one, although the last one was pretty colorful as well. Got an October 29th release date. It's got a good variety of weaponry, including melee weapons, and you can play it from any kind of angle you want. Like if you want to go in guns blazing, you can be that kind of character, or you can go in stealth killing everything and, being sneaky assassin type character, or you can just talk your way through a lot of the situations, just depending on how you want to play the game.
I feel like that's,
And I like that. It's very RPG-esque where you can play it how you want and approach things the way you want.
I feel like that's definitely us to a T. You're Mr. Guns Blazing, I'm Mr. Stealthy, trying to even avoid fights and just, skip right ahead.
I can definitely see you talking your way through everything. But also, they went into in the direct a lot more about what the like your skills. You'll have skills and traits you can upgrade and choose from. You'll have things like you can choose the background of your character when you're first developing it. They could be a professor, so they've got a more higher intelligence and make different conversations as well within the world, depending on what your background is. You could be a lawgiver, which is you're straight up law and order. You could be an ex-con, so that means you're probably be good at pickpocketing and picking locks and things of that nature. Gunslinger, they had a whole bunch of them. And then on top of that, they had where you choose traits, such as bravery or brilliant, or what were some of the others? Heroic, different things that also affect conversations, choices, options that you'll have throughout the game. So it gives us some replayability with all these different traits because you could try something different. Another one is you can choose lucky or dumb, which is supposed to be really hilarious conversation-wise. It gives you conversation options where you just say the dumbest thing in the world, or sometimes you're trying to get a computer to work or a piece of machinery to work, and instead of actually hacking into it or rewiring it or whatever you might do if you were, say, an intelligent trait, dumb, you hit it with a wrench or something to get it to work.
I love that. That reminds me.
So it sounds pretty interesting to play it that way.
Reminds me of Zoolander.
You've got skill,
Yeah.
which could be medical or melee or observation, science, also affecting how well you can hack into computers or pick a lock or your gunslinging ability, that kind of thing. And then finally, you've got a flaw system. And they were talking about some of the flaws, like you could have bad knees. So when you're doing a stealth and you're sneaking up on somebody, if you stand up, your knees make a loud popping noise and everybody hears it.
That's a little too realistic for me.
The flaw was kleptomaniac. You're better at stealing things, but sometimes if you're just looking at an item, it'll automatically steal it. And if you get caught, of course, that brings attention to you might not want. All these little details and things that make it quirky and interesting and fun, and just give you another option of a way to play the game and customize it to the way you want to play it.
That's too funny.
That being said, I played the first Outer Worlds. I loved it. It was great. It's got the companions again, so you're going to have that quality humor back and forth with your companions. Evidently, it affects it if you don't treat your companions well. There's evidently in the end of the game, it shows. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now I'll have to play it through both ways as the good guy, them all real well and finding out their problems and helping them out, and play it the other way through as a complete dick.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that that's too funny that you can have the bad knees and everything, because that's a little too realistic for me. Knowing how I am, I can't be sneaky in real life at all, mainly because I'll be trying to tuck my kids in or something and I'll get up and my knees will pop super loud and they'll be like, huh? Where are you going, Daddy? Yeah, no, I'm the least sneaky person. So that's kind of funny, but yeah, no, definitely interested in that. And I would kind of want to do a playthrough just as the dumb character just because that sounds so funny. Like it
Right.
reminds me of that movie Zoolander, if you've seen that and remember that. But there's this part where they're like, "Oh, the files are in the computer." So like they get the computer and they're like trying to like shake the files out and they like throw the computer trying to get the files to come out of the computer. So yeah, that made me laugh.
Yeah, I could see that being something in there. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Another game that they covered in the showcase was High on Life 2. I don't know if you played the first one on High on Life. It's done by the same people that did the Rick and Morty series, and it's hilarious. I love that game. And the game was so crazy. You could sit on the couch with one of the aliens in your house, which kind of got abducted to this other world, and watch these crappy, I don't know what era they're from, like early 80s or something like that movies. I mean, these were real movies that were evidently made, and they're so bad, they're hilarious. I actually sat there, I think, and watched one of them, like just all the way through. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm doing this
Yeah.
in a video game, watching them on a couch with an alien.
I mean, that's not that crazy because I think both you and I watched those TV episodes in Alan Wake, right?
Oh yeah, I watched all of those. Those are pretty well done
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's got a lot of new sentient guns, so you'll have conversations with those guns, and they'll say crazy stuff. You traverse the world. It looks like instead of running around and jumping and having a jetpack, he's on a skateboard most of the time. So hey, Tony Hawk meets crazy sci-fi aliens.
Like kind of Borderlands-ish, but with more like cartoonishness.
Yeah. But it looks like a continuation of the storyline where, they're capturing humans and somehow milking this drug from them that the aliens get high on. So you're battling these gangs of alien monsters that want to beat a drug cartel for humans.
That's about right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Another one that I found very interesting, which I played the first Plague Tale. I haven't played the second one yet. But supposedly it takes place, it's like a prequel to the first Plague Tale. And you play as a character, Sophia, who is, I guess, a character in the second Plague Tale that I haven't played yet. It's on my backlog of games to play, which if you haven't played those, Mike, the first one was really good, and the second one's supposed to be even better.
Yeah, no, I never played Plague Tale. Is that the one? I might be confusing it with a different game, but is that the one where you're playing as like, it's like an indie game and it's like you're playing as a mouse or something?
No. That one you play as, it's basically a brother and sister, and they're being hunted because the brother has some unusual abilities. And it's during a medieval time period, and you're trying to get your brother to safety, and there's a whole lot of alchemy reference in there. It takes place in medieval France, if I remember right. So yeah, you basically play it mainly as the sister trying to help the brother get to safety. After, I don't know if the mother got killed or if she managed to escape right. You don't really see, but you assume she got killed. But yeah, it was a very good game. At one point, you kind of have some control over these hordes of rats because, plague times there's lots of rats. And this is a sequel. You're playing as one of the characters like mentors her in the second game, Sophia. And I'm not sure how it ties in to this whole, just sort of a curse or something that comes out of all of this. But you play that in, it's like 15 years before Requiem, which was the first game. And you're going out to explore the Minotaur Island. And it's a mix of combat, stealth, and puzzle solving. It looks good. It's going to be on Game Pass. I'm definitely going to try it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Especially because I was confusing it for some other game with cartoon mice. I don't know. I'm not even sure which game I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's definitely not that. Then, of course, they had Ninja Gaiden 4, which it's been years since I played the original Ninja Gaiden, way back. But it's supposed to be just as challenging, if not more so. You play as a new character. Yeah, Kumo is his name, and he's fighting a new, he's supposed to be the new ninja prodigy, replacing Ryu Hayabusa, although he also comes back and has an appearance in this game.
Yeah.
So it kind of continues that storyline. It's been so long, I'm going to have to refresh myself on the narrative of how that storyline played out with Ryu, so I can find out what I'm supposed to do in this game. Hopefully it has some kind of a recap, because like I said, it's been a while since a Ninja Gaiden game.
Yeah, it would definitely be smart if they had a recap, because I barely played Ninja Gaiden, because that was like, it's not that was before my time, but it was never really a big game on my radar when I was younger, you know? I don't
Right.
It just wasn't my vibe when I was a kid.
I think I played the first two, and that was about it. They were brutal, the combat in them and getting through them. They were not easy. It's like your early, what's the one, roguelike type games where you're dying all the time. But it's set to release this year on October 21st. So that gives us 2 games in October that are big. And then on September 4th, you've got new DLC for the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which if you haven't played that, and especially if you're a fan of the Indiana Jones movies, it's better than some of the movies. It was really good. And the voice acting by Troy Baker in that is amazing. But this DLC deals with it's called the Order of the Giants. And it all takes place somewhere beneath Rome, evidently. And I'm looking forward to it because it was just a great story and a great adventure. And the sound effects were really well done. The music was really well done. The environments were cool. The puzzles were not too hard to do, but not so easy that, was boring. So it was really worthwhile. Even if you're not a big Indiana Jones fan, it's a game worth playing because it's just really well thought out and laid out. A lot of fun.
I definitely want to, just for me personally, I'm going to like retitle that DLC in my head. And like when I'm playing it, I'm just going to refer to it as Indiana Jones and the Moderate Triangle or something. You got to keep that theme. The Great Circle, the Moderate Triangle, the Disappointing Rectangle. So that's how I'm going to refer to them.
That's where you're going to go
Yeah.
with it. I don't think that would go over as well. This is probably why you're not in charge of naming.
This is why I can't have nice things. I mess up the names. But yeah, I'll be talking to you, Ray, and I'll be like, hey, dude, did you finish Indiana Jones and the Disappointing Triangle? And you're going to be like, dude, what? But it'll make sense to them.
And there's a lot more games in here. I just want to touch on one more that really stuck out to me, which was Clockwork Revolution. It takes place in 1895. They didn't have a release date. They're kind of I'm hoping towards this year. It's kind of a steampunk art style. They introduce you to some characters in the trailer, the shark, the pissed off doll, and the knob, all of which look hilarious. Like it's going to be really funny to watch and play, interact with these characters. It kind of has a Dishonored or Thief and with a little bit of BioShock thrown in together for it. It starts out, it looks like you're just kind of a thief dealing with these gangs and trying to sell product and survive in this steampunk world ruled by some dystopian government. And then it adds this little time manipulation thing. You steal something evidently that the government uses to manipulate time so you can go back and change decisions. You shoot somebody you weren't supposed to shoot, you can back up time and now they're alive again. Your choices and what you do with that actually do affect how the future looks. And turns out you might go through one of these time loop things and change something. And then when you come back, hey, everything's different. This isn't the way I left it. Different people are in charge. Different things are going on. Maybe you save the future. Maybe you make it worse. I don't know. But it's very strong BioShock vibes in that respect to it. I'm really looking forward to trying it. And the steampunk world is just kind of cool. I think that plays out really well in video games.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too when I was watching the trailers, that it looked very BioShock to me.
I really want them to make some more BioShock. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'll take this if it's a close second. But yeah, there's quite a few other games mentioned in there. We probably won't have time to talk about all of them. If you have a chance, I recommend going and watching the showcase. It's on YouTube and stuff, so you can go back and watch it. They mentioned quite a few other games. They also have the Final Fantasy 7 and 16, which are on I don't know if 7's released on Xbox. I know 16, I think, dropped that day. So those are available if you're a big Final Fantasy fan. So yeah, a lot to look forward to it from that showcase. Well, that's all I got for us today. Appreciate y'all coming and watching. Like and subscribe. Leave some comments for us. And we'll try to get another show out to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Later.